and Transformation Movement, the ATM. Zungula, thank you very much for your time. You may have had a discussion that I've just had with Fred here. He's not expecting much. You have produced a well-choreographed diagram and breakdown of the challenges and unkept promises by President Ramaphosa's administration. Based on what you have published, I assume that you are not looking forward to this honor.
We're not looking forward to the honor at all. In fact, we do not have any expectations, but the reality is that Mr. Ramaphosa will keep on lying, because he's been lying, making failed promises ever since he assumed the office of being president. You'll recall that he promised that he's going to build a smart city, the smart city. He promised a bullet train, he promised an university in Ekurhuleni, but none of those have materialized. There's not even plans, there's not even any programs that are there that speak to that being being made. Now, if you look at now, we can't be coming to a sauna and come to a person who's going to keep on making promises, because we're not children. It's only a child whereby you're going to promise them sweets and come later, sweets again. But we're dealing with adults, particularly because we're dealing with a country that is gravitating towards being a failed state. Therefore, we would want a president that has got the conscience in terms of being able to account, to say, this is what, as a president, I promised in the past 5 years, and this is what I've managed to do. Not a case whereby he's going to come, make fresh promises as if he has not made previous promises.
But for this honor, my take would be, it will be more of a report back session, because you still have another State of the Nation address that will be delivered by the president of the incoming 7th administration. You may have a situation where he will go back 30 years ago when the ANC took power in this country and give a detailed feedback report. But my question to you is, what's to be done then if you do not trust what the president is going to say?
You know what he's going to do over and above what you've just stated is that he's going to campaign, because he has now an opportunity to make other promises that he can't make, whilst he's wearing a party t-shirt. Now he's got the perfect platform, which is the SONA platform, to make promises in order to try and sway people to vote for him again. So he's going to make more promises. So what needs to be done is that people, South Africans, need to take responsibility and correct all of this mess that we're in the country by voting for a different government come May this year. Because if you look at the indicators, whether it is unemployment, it is the question of murder rates, it is everything. The country has gone from bad to worse, and it is collapsing. Therefore, people must rescue themselves by removing this government that is failing come May 2024.
How do you respond to criticism that would say opposition political parties and members of parliament have struggled to hold this executive to account on a number of instances?
No, the opposition, particularly the ATM, has not struggled. Instead, what you have a parliament that has been now changing their rules, changing how things are done in order to protect the president. You'll recall on the Pala issue, he refused to answer a question, and the then speaker allowed him to refuse to answer a question, whereas the constitution obligates him to answer questions. You'll recall that there was even a time whereby even now the rules are changed. We have now new rules of parliament to try and shield him from accountability. Therefore, the fault is not with the opposition parties, but it is the presiding officers that are protecting him.
In the past, we have raised concerns about how members of the EFF were kicked out of the House, and clearly with the new revised rules, I assume you are of the view that they will not assist the situation, but they are designed, according to you, to protect the president.
Yeah, we've got now a parliament that is fully hell-bent on protecting the president from being held accountable, instead of a parliament that is doing what the constitution requires, which is to create a platform for members of parliament to hold the president accountable.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Zungula. That is, Mr. Zungula was the leader of the ATM.